man. Hey, got a very special episode with you. My closest friend, my brother, Ifeanyi Momah, is pulling up to the door right now. So we're gonna go greet him, man. We're gonna go greet him. Haven't seen him in a while. He's back from Arizona. He came through and had said, hey, he needs to be on the show. Yo, my man. What's up, baby? What's going on?
Chilling.
Appreciate you. It's going down. It's going down. Yeah. Okay, here. Got the Jiggy crew in the back. How you doing? We're back. It's a little bit different of a setting, as you see. A couple last few episodes you got to see as far as the high school jersey retirement. You see a lot of the turf, a lot of the talk with a lot of guys and athletes. But if you watch the first episode with myself when our jersey retired, Ifeanyi Momah.
And then spike it. They need that first down. And Palmer will get in wide open, making the catch. And out of bounds is Ifeanyi Momah. Four-man rush over the middle. That picks up a good chunk of the yardage. And fighting his way before he's gang tackled, but still on his feet and coming close to a first down is Momah, the tight end.
Who's in here with me at John Glenn, great friend, great brother, best friend growing up. You usually can't really hear my name without Ifeanyi's name. If you know us, usually if you hear Trevor, you hear Ifeanyi. If you hear Ifeanyi, it's Trevor. And it's been a pleasure that he's here today, and we get to sit down and talk to him and get kind of what his aim is about and his life story. And so he's played with the Cardinals, most recently Cleveland, Philly, Detroit, Eagles. You've been around. You've been around. And he's here to tell you kind of, what we went through, as more of what he went through as a high school athlete, college, and what it takes now to being where he's at and why he's there. And we're just gonna leave you with a tip. So first of all, thank you, Ifeanyi. Thank you for having us.
Anytime, man.
So yeah, we'll get right to it. So first of all, coming from Long Island, we don't get much respect in the football world or in the sports world in general. So how was it like as a high school athlete coming out of Long Island and some of the things that you had to go through to get to your scholarship first of all?
Yeah,
get to that point.
It was tough. You already know there was nobody for us to really, I guess, line ourselves up to compare, with the older guys, except for Oni and Chi. So it was tough trying to figure out where we can take football and where it can bring us. And by the time we got old enough, junior, senior year, to realize the opportunity that we had in football, that's when I realized that it really doesn't matter where you are, what state you're in, what city you're in, what school you're going to. As long as you play good, you make noise, people will come and watch. People will be knocking at the door. So we had a bunch of schools come in and talk to us, watch our film, watch us play, come and watch us play on Saturdays. It was Saturdays, right? Yep, Saturdays. Again.
Things change on Sundays, yep.
But yeah, so by my middle of the season, my senior year, that's when I started to actually get some offers from big time schools. I was a little bit of a late bloomer. Played well, small school, but like we said, you make noise, people come knocking. So we had some offers from Boston College, Temple, UConn, schools of that like.
And school, Syracuse,
yeah,
Delaware,
Delaware, Hofstra. And I was, weighing out the options. I was very intrigued with a couple of schools. I liked Hofstra for the location and the past players that have been through there, from Marcus Colston, Jamal Ellis, just great athletes who made it. And ultimately decided to go to Boston College. Boston College, at the time, Big East school, moving to the ACC, big time, making a lot of wins, making a lot of players go to the NFL, so it was appealing. And I went there, I committed there. So yeah, I was blessed, man. I had a good quarterback, and we had good athletes as well. Unfortunately, we never got a ring, but we made it happen. We showcased our talents.
So, with that being said, especially around in today's age with the YouTube and Instagrams and Twitter and everything, so a lot of the athletes that I've encountered like to see the top athletes and try to go do with that, what they do. Give us a little bit about what you had to go through as far as work ethic wise, as far as being in the gym, the speed training when we some of the things we used to, not we, but you had to go through in order to get those offers, you know, because yes, you know, you do have the luxury of being 6'7", 6'8", but it wasn't like you weren't putting the time in. And so just like kind of tell the world and everybody that, you know, some of the things you were doing, you know, to get to that point.
Absolutely. So we were both fortunate enough to have Oni take us under his wing and take us to every place that he was going to train at. So we were in Jersey, I think freshman year of high school.
Right at the practice.
Yeah, right at the practice. We'll get in the car with Oni and go to New Jersey and train at Parisi when Parisi was just getting started and started making a name for themselves. Oni was training for his pro day, and we were just there doing everything that he was doing. And that was definitely a way for us to get in front, or to get a lead on other people that we were competing against to get a scholarship. So from there, continued with Oni. He took us to every gym in Long Island and trained us in those gyms and literally whooped our ass in those gyms. We died on that turf. Oh my God. And then he put us on to different coaches like Kamal Roy, you know, receivers, DB coach, just a skilled coach in general. And he took us and had us, me and Trevor, doing drills. And the beauty of that was having somebody like Trevor who, his talents are quickness and speed. And me, I'm a big guy trying to figure out what, you know, where I can get an advantage. I was able to go against somebody of his caliber, and I felt like that increased my coordination, my speed, my quickness. And you know, when you get into college and NFL, you realize there's a lot of guys that are your size, 6'6", 6'7", and you see a ton of them. Some of them will make a roster, and some of them won't. And the reason why I think I was able to separate myself and make it was because of my quickness that I developed from a young age. You know, my route running, things of that nature. You know, I think that's what really helped me separate myself from guys who are my size. You know, they probably weren't doing certain things that I was doing at a young age and continue to do as I evolved and got in college. So I would say that honestly, just the people that I trained with, the places that we trained, and the things that we were doing, and also the mental part of it too, having Oni and other people that were mentors for us, you know, who played, they kind of told us how to go about handling ourselves in the game and what to be, you know, looking for in the field, how to actually play football. So that helped a lot.
So competition is one of the biggest things. And then as you get to college, you know, the competition gets even more and more. And then you get to the top. Can explain about, you know, because today's world, I see with some of my athletes and some of the people that I talk to and engage, even if it's not even in the sports world, just in life itself in general, in the job aspect, that it's okay to have healthy competition. It's not a bad thing. And a lot of people don't realize as close as we are, we competed constantly. So let's talk about how competition kind of sets you up to, you know, where you are now.
Competition, I can say, set the both of us up to be where we are today. We, from young age, we were competing from the Lawn Street football days, racing on the streets, to middle school, high school, training. You know, we would push ourselves by competing. I think that's what really gave us that that nature, that will to grind, because you don't want to let the person that, you know, that you're with beat you in anything. So we'll be doing drills. It didn't matter what we're doing, one-on-ones, agility drills, ladder. We're competing every single day. You know what I mean? So what really separated me when I got to college was that competitiveness. There are people that I was teammates with in college that, you know, I see them as teammates, I became friends with them, but when we put the helmet on and we got in the football field, I'm competing. You know what I mean? I'm competing against you. And the friendship stuff has to go to the side. And I can remember when we got to Boston College, we got to Maine, there was the year before Maine and BC played, and I remember we would talk trash all the time. We talked about the next year, next season, they better not put that game up because I'm coming for your neck. Literally, coming for your neck. I'm trying to showcase, and that's love. I think that's what our friendship is built off of. Is we care for one another so much, we're gonna compete, and that's a beautiful thing to have. And that goes with all our friends too. We all compete. So getting to college, getting to NFL as well, having that competitive nature, instilled in us from day one, definitely helped me separate myself when I got to those different competitive fields and competitive games.
Love that. So talk about some of the, you know, a lot of people think it's once you did your thing in high school, you got your scholarship offer, and now it's okay, the school loves you, you know, Boston College loves you, you're their top guy, and you get into there and it's like, okay, I'm not the top guy. But then also, you know, things happen along the way. So kind of give your story in what happened to you during college, you know, as far as injuries, playing, or played as a true freshman versus the top people.
Absolutely.
Virginia Tech, when they were top dogs in the nation every year from the defensive backs. Tell us, like, you know, what happened and why didn't you give up, you know, because there's been people, you know, from me being at Maine, when people get hurt as many times as you have, that just, this is it, let's hang it up. So what was your aim? Why did you keep going? What kept going? What was the driving force?
Yeah, getting recruited into college, coaches told me everything they could tell me to get me to that school. And it's almost like it's just a cover up to make everything look good. Like, you're gonna be the guy when you get there, they're gonna show a lot of love to you, you're gonna be the best player ever. And when you get on campus, coaches don't even remember your name. It's just like, oh, how you doing, brother? What was your name again? I didn't let that get to me. I knew from the beginning, I wasn't expecting a lot of love. I was I got a bunch of late offers. A lot of coaches did like me when they saw me, like my size and everything, but I took everything with a grain of salt, and I was ready to compete, like I said earlier. So when I got on campus, I wasn't expecting much love from coaches or anything like that, and I was just ready to go. So yeah, I didn't get the love that I wanted, but I was ready to work and earn my right to play on that field and become a starter and demand to have the ball thrown to me.
Play action. Reddick rolling to his left, stops, going long, and has a man, Momah. They stay with their aerial attack and going deep, looking for Momah. Has it inside the 5.
Ifeanyi Momah, 6'6".
In college, so yeah, that I wasn't really expecting too much when I got there to be given to me. I went and took everything. So I forgot.
And then I got you. And then so you played as a true freshman. Talk about how was it playing as a true freshman?
Yeah, that was funny because we were both young for our grade. So I played in my first college game at 17, and my quarterback was Matt Ryan, and we were playing Wake Forest. And that year, Wake Forest was really good. We're really good, but we don't know what to expect. Nobody really knew how good we were. We weren't on the top 25, and I think we were like in the middle of the pack in ACC. And playing as a true freshman in that year, we ended up getting to the second-ranked team in the nation. We were number 2. And being a true freshman in that environment was insane. Playing against the likes of Cam Chancellor on VTech, Macho Harris from VTech, a lot of big-name players from Florida State, from all these different schools in the ACC.
Right?
Yeah, you remember?
Yeah, of course.
We played against them, and I'm lining up against these guys and holding my own as a 17, 18-year-old. Showed me that it doesn't matter how old you are, who you are, where you come from. You get on that football field, everybody has a chance to compete. The best man's gonna win, and they gave me the chance to do that, and I was able to compete with those guys, which was awesome. So I would say not being intimidated was the number one trait that helped me in that situation. You get thrown in the game at that age with the lights on. You can either shine or you can crumble. And I was fortunate enough to play well and rise on situations and did well for myself. There were times where I made mistakes being a young kid, but at the same time I came back and forgot those mistakes and tried to make the next play. So,
just 17 years old, bright future. As far as it goes, you're playing as a true freshman, number 2 team in the nation. And now let's talk about what happens. The college career wasn't necessarily probably something that you would expect. Let's talk about that because, right now you're a true freshman. Everybody's like, okay, this is a 6'7" receiver. He's played pretty well, had some big time catches. So let's talk about what happened what happened next year.
Yeah. So I got to my sophomore year and played a little bit more. Wasn't quite the starter yet. And then after that season, my junior year is when I ended up tearing my MCL and was faced with an injury in camp. I did that in camp. And that week that I sprained my MCL, I was competing with a senior at receiver, and they named me a starter. And then that following day, we had a scrimmage, and that's when I got hurt. So that was discouraging, man. And going from playing as a true freshman, playing a lot as a sophomore, going to be a starter your junior year, and having those last 2 years be your starting years to develop and make plays and get drafted or whatever it is, having an injury in that moment was devastating. I was fortunate to have people behind me helping me get back and keep my mental right. and I was able to come back from that injury. In my redshirt junior year, I played, did well, made a couple of big catches, and made some noise. And then the beginning of my redshirt senior year, I got hurt again. I tore my ACL, and that was in the first game of the season. Now, senior year was supposed to be my year to make a lot of noise in order to get drafted and reach that goal of making an NFL. And me tearing my ACL in the first game and not being able to showcase my talents was the most devastating and biggest crush that I faced, especially up to that point in my life when I was about 20, 21. So that was tough for me. It was tough to get back from that and rebound from that.
So senior year, you led the nation in catches in yards for like 6 weeks. I remember we actually competed to see who had the best game. That was both for our senior year, and we actually decided, all right, who's gonna have a better game, and we called each other up after. But then, I remember it vividly. So then, NFL is still either on the horizon or not. You're looking to play. Things didn't work out. I know you had a couple of setbacks with your knee. So I believe you sat out a year right after that, right?
Yeah.
Talk about what that was like as far as what made you keep going, sitting out a year.
Yeah.
Why some of your friends, including myself, we got that chance to be playing right now, and then you have to sit out a whole year. And what was that like, for people out there that may be thinking it's time to give up or something?
Absolutely, man. That was tough. That was the toughest thing I had to go through, was having my teammates, having my friends, having a bunch of people that were in the same year as me going on to the NFL and playing. And I was sitting at Boston College, rehabbing my knee and not expecting to play football ever again. That was really tough for my mental, and it was hard for me to come back from. So I was discouraged. It took me a while to get out of that slump, and I had a good support team, people that were behind me, pushing me. And at the same time, what I realized was, yeah, I'm hurt, yeah, I can't play football, I can't go to the NFL and do what I wanted to do right now. But one, I have a bunch of friends and boys that are playing. I should be watching and rooting, supporting them. And two, an injury is an injury you can always come back from. Not to get discouraged. You can make a name for yourself, even if it's a year later, even if it's 2 years later. You can still pursue that dream and hit that window, because that window, as you get older and you let it close, it's going to close real quick. So I made sure that I was able to take advantage of the opportunity when I was healthy. So, I rehabbed well and sat out 2012 after the 2011 tear. 2012 was the year I'm supposed to enter the NFL, and I sat out. I went back to school, started my master's, and then came in the NFL in 2013.
I think around there was time, I was with the Bears, we got cut. Detroit, somewhere along the way, we both got cut. There was a time, and Jeremy Kelly, one of our good friends too, we were all NFL free agents at the time. And a lot of people don't realize, when you think of NFL free agents, think of these guys that are lavish, living their lives, so much money. And there was a time when we went from playing football to moving boxes, overnight shifts, and let's talk about that and go deep into that. But that's the things that people don't see. We work out all day.
Absolutely. So I'll just start off by saying this. There's more to our drive for football than glamour and fame. We wanted to play football. We didn't care about anything else but play football. So when it came to that year, it was our second year in the league, and we both got cut. It must have been 2014. That season, we were at home. Our friend Trevor's teammate, my good boy Jeremy Kelly, came down, stayed with Trev, lived with Trevor in his house. And what we would do is by 9 p.m. we'll get to Queens. We would pack a van or a big truck, pack it with boxes, clothes, a bunch of different things for this store in a warehouse, and then get in that truck and drive to Manhattan. And we would restock the shelves of stores like Zara and stores like that. And we'll do that we'll get to Manhattan around 11 p.m. and stay there till about 5 a.m. And we're just moving boxes the whole time. And getting a good work at it, but it's still a mental strain. You think about that. It was the best practice of humility at the time, because you had to humble yourself. You work in a night shift. You're not on the NFL field practicing and playing. You're in a night shift working, moving boxes in the city. And so what we did was I could tell we all got motivation from doing that, and we'll wake up the next morning by 12 and get on the field and train every single day. That was our routine. Train for 2-3 hours, get some food, and just kept that going. So, I think that showed our true passion and drive to want to play football. We weren't doing it for anything else but to compete and make a name for ourselves, and just for the love of the game. You know, we were doing things that nobody else was really doing.
Oh my gosh, you know,
people wouldn't believe us that when we tell them those things.
It's a struggle, you know. You know, people see us. Oh, one day we're in such a high. Yeah, we're in the NFL. We come back. Oh yeah, what are you doing now? Oh, I'm a free agent, but I'm moving box. You don't. That's the stuff you don't tell. You know, you don't tell people, and like those are some things we had to do because we had an aim. This is what we wanted to do. So, and that's when you look back at that, you know, it's something.
Yeah, just get a little money in your pocket.
Yeah, time flies, and it was worth it. You know,
absolutely worth it.
I would. And the crazy thing is, I would do it all again.
Easy.
You know, all again. As much as the struggle and everything about it, there's not a time where I wouldn't. You got to enjoy the journey. You got to enjoy every single part of the journey. Your first team was the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's talk about some of the struggles and things you went through. You finally got over that hump, and now you're on the Eagles. You know, everybody's all type of videos on YouTube. 6'8" guy. I mean, some dude's making a video about you, and then you know things don't necessarily pan out again. So let's talk about just what the Eagles and how many times you went back and forth with them. You want to share that?
Yeah. So I got signed by the Eagles after I did my pro day at Boston College, and I just remember from the moment I got hurt, and then I decided to realign my mind and get back into football to the point where I signed with the Eagles 2 years later. I worked my tail off. I wanted to get into the league. I made sure that I could make it and get into the league, but I didn't have a plan. And I didn't have a plan for my mindset for when I made it and what I would be doing after I made it on a roster, and not a 53-man roster, on a 90-man roster, which is the OTA's off-season roster. There were still things to be done, and I wasn't even thinking about that. I was ecstatic, and I was excited that I was in the NFL. I overcame an injury. I'm here. I arrived. No, I was way off. I was wrong, and I could say that year off kind of maybe got my mind off from things, but at the end of the day, I wasn't ready, and competing with the likes of Deshaun Jackson and having a quarterback like Michael Vick, it's hard to keep your mind right when you're around guys that you quote unquote call your idols, and wow, I'm standing next to this such and such player, and I let that get to me. So my rookie year, I ended up getting cut after the preseason. At the end of preseason was the last cuts I got cut, and I was sent home. And I just remember being discouraged, going from being super happy making the roster, 90-man roster, to getting cut when they cut down to 53. I was discouraged, and I didn't want all that hard work I put in those 2 years where I was sitting out to go to nothing by getting cut for just having 3 or 4 months of being in an NFL team. That was a hard time for me, and I remember during that time, that offseason, coming home. And I think that was the offseason where we got together and we were working together and making sure that we can get back on the roster and get back somewhere.
James Brady too. If he's watching this.
Brady throwing it to us.
Yep, we used to compete all the time. That's another good person. Just had to shout out.
Man, Brady helped us a lot. And any time that we needed to throw and get on the field, he was there for us, throwing the ball to us in a lot of other ways too. But we both ended up getting back on the roster that following season. And I remember going into that camp and that all OTAs and all season telling myself to have the mindset of competition, compete. Doesn't matter who is next to me, doesn't matter how big of a player, how much money's in their pocket, what contract I have, how many years I've been in the league. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna try to compete and make a name for myself. Unfortunately, again, I got released by the same team, the Philadelphia Eagles, who I signed with back-to-back, both OTAs and both off seasons. So I got released again, and that was the biggest blow. I thought my career is officially done. Yeah, it was good to be in the NFL for for that little time, but so be it. I'm done. I'm hanging it up. And that was what, 2014. Yeah. Yeah, man. So
a couple other teams, other teams across the way that you went through practice squad.
Yeah.
But let's talk about it. So now, here you go. You changed your position. You started out as a receiver with the Eagles, go to tight end, and now got your shot with the Cardinals. What, 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. So now you got that, you've aimed for that, and let's talk about the glory, and then now what happens, and because everybody sees the NFL, everybody sees certain things with people, and they compare themselves too. But I like to always tell there's a struggle in everybody's story. They always got to keep aiming for whatever they want to do, and as an Arizona Cardinal, you got your practice squad, you've been in the roster, you've been through a lot. So just kind of explain what you went through with them and then what you continue to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. So I signed on to the Detroit Lions after I got released by Philadelphia in 2014. Actually, Cleveland. I'm at Cleveland Browns. So I went there for a week. And before I went to Cleveland, I was back at my old school, BC, Boston College, registered for classes. I thought I was done. I was going to retire. And I got a phone call. I went to Cleveland, signed on the practice squad. And after a week of being in that practice squad, the first week of the season, I get released. And, confused about what's going on. I was back at home trying to figure out life. I get another phone call from the Lions week 3, and they wanted me to switch positions, go from receiver to tight end. Me, my big frame, my tall frame, put some weight on, learn how to block, you can make a living for yourself. That's what they told me. So I did it. I wanted to keep my career going. So I went to Detroit, played there for a solid week, 2 weeks, and get cut again. And they told me they were going to bring me back. They told me that they wanted me to put some weight on. So I had a little bit of things to look forward to and hope for. And I went home and did those things, and lo and behold, they signed me. They bring me back in the offseason after the season. Come to find out, 2 weeks later after they signed me, in the offseason in January, they released me again. So now I'm a free agent, I'm at home, and that was the year the Veteran Combine started. And I went to the Veteran Combine and put up some pretty good numbers, and that's when Arizona came knocking, and I signed there with the Cardinals. And I spent the 3 years there with the Cardinals, but going through all those different loops and circles and hurdles and different setbacks, it definitely set my mind up for when I was with the Cardinals.
Bounces at the 6, one hop into the arms of Chris Davis. And he lost the football, and Arizona falls on it. He got stripped. What a thing to happen here. Momah with the recovery to open up the third quarter. Momah with the strip and the recovery.
It prepared me to compete on a high level and not worry about being cut, being released, what the coaches think.
Oh my God,
because they think a lot, and the coaches will let you know how they feel. There's coaches that are on the field. You make one mistake, they're going to cuss you out to your face, and you can take it one of two ways. You can be discouraged and get upset, talk back, or put your head down, or you can take it
let it go
and learn from it and try to come back and make the next play. Because if you make that next play, the coach is gonna he's gonna let you hear the praises. So that I learned that right before I got to the Cardinals, and that helped me succeed when I was in Arizona. Unfortunately, my first year I did well in the preseason, and I made a lot of noise. People didn't know who I was, and I was able to do that, which was awesome. And unfortunately, after the preseason, when I made the 53-man roster, that first week I got hurt in practice. I tear my meniscus in practice. Injury was I had the injury bug for most of these seasons, which was unfortunate. But I was able to come back from that. They signed me and kept me on for 2 years. I came back in 2016 and started off on practice squad. I was trying to come back from an injury again, and that was tough. And I felt like I had to work harder to get my body back right. And I did that. Started off on practice squad 2016 for the first 3 weeks, got activated, and when I got activated, I had a couple balls thrown to me, made some catches, which was awesome, and got hurt again in week 8. Just adversity after adversity, and I knew that I wasn't gonna let anything change my mental. Injury, like I said earlier, injury, coaches, bad plays. I wasn't gonna let anything get to me. I was gonna continue to try to overcome. So after having an injury in 2016, I came back again in 2017. They brought me back, which was awesome again. And this time they had me and they got rid of a couple other guys in the roster, which was awesome. So it gave me the opportunity to really make a push to become either a starter or a number 2 guy as a tight end. And I was able to do that. Start off the season on the 53-man roster and made it through till week 8. And I played pretty well. Had a couple of games where special teams was a little hectic and a couple plays where I had some catches and a couple plays where I had some drops. So it was a tough year, play by play, but I continued to push. Like I said, I didn't let anything get to my mind. I was trying to focus on football and play to the best of my abilities, and ended up getting hurt end of the season week 12. So that's the most recent injury and the most recent thing that happened this past season, and yeah, that's where I'm at now.
So as you see, as you're looking through people, and the thing is, we don't want people to kind of compare their lives to anybody else, because you know, without you being able to come here, which we're so appreciative, and tell your story, everybody thinks it's just, oh, high school here to here, and it was smooth sailing. So, first of all, thank you for having us. Thank you for coming. You know, it's like my brother. We've been here forever. Since PAL, we've been actually playing football together, doing everything together. And then, like, we like to end the show, we like to end it with you telling kids, adults, just the people in general, some type of, you know, what is your aim? Like, you know, what would you tell somebody that may be watching this, and what would you want them want you to get from you? What would you want them? What was something you want to leave?
Absolutely. One good thing to always keep in mind, no matter what it is that you're doing, whether it be playing in sports, basketball, football, in a working field, whatever it is, whatever drives you, have the right state of mind to overcome adversity and to face any obstacle in your way, because no matter what it is that you're going to pursue, you're going to face obstacles, you're going to face failure. Things will happen. Nobody's ever perfect in what they do. You have to be able to bounce back and continue to push for the thing that it is that you want. Don't let anybody tell you can't get something, because you work for it, you can earn it. Don't let adversity discourage you, because that's gonna pass. This too shall pass. You will come back and you will be able to succeed, but you have to have the right mindset. So I would say every morning, try to tell yourself, you know, today's gonna be a good day, and if something bad happens, I'll bounce back. I'll be back. You know, just fight adversity. Don't let that get the best of you.
Adversity, and one of my favorite things you said was work and earn. A lot of people think everything's given, so we gotta work and earn. And that's it. We're gonna wrap that up, man. What is your aim? Like, subscribe, follow, comment, man. I hope you really enjoyed this. This is very good stuff. Fonny, once again, thank you for having me.
This is great stuff y'all doing.
We're out of here, man. We're out of here.
Keep this going, man. Keep it going.
Taylor about the fucking flex.
Perfect.
10 so dark, you cannot see who I'm riding with. Diamond glisten all up in my watch, can't tell what time it is. Diamond clusters all up in my watch, they got you blind as shit. I tied a beat up, then I fucking yeah, I'm on some violent shit. Woo! Don't wanna tell you again. Woo! I might tell the bitch to bring a friend. Drop the top and open up the roof, now that